yourself, get out of here, 'cause I won't turn away. Chasing through the color, there's something in the water now. All I ever wanted. Chasing through the color, there's something in the water now. I can taste it. All I wanted was joy. Once again, chasing through the color. Blood is in the water now. The adrenaline rush. Oh, chasing through the color. Blood is in the water now. I can taste it. I can feel you. I can taste it. I can feel you. All I wanted was joy. Once again, chasing through the color. Blood is in the water now. The adrenaline rush. Oh, chasing through the color. Blood is in the water now. I can't stop the change. Tell me, can you feel the fire? 'Cause if so, I'm sorry it's too late. Chasing through the color, there's something in the water now. All I ever wanted. Chasing through the color, there's something in the water now. I can taste it. All I wanted was joy. Chasing through the color. Blood is in the water now. The adrenaline rush. Oh, chasing through the color. Blood is in the water now. I can taste it. I can feel you. I can taste it. I can feel you. All I wanted was joy. Once again, chasing through the color. Blood is in the water now. The adrenaline rush. Oh, chasing through the color. Blood is in the water now.
Tell me what you feel. This one is for real. The one I've been waiting for. It's only magic when you're touching me. It's like a rhythm so my heart can beat.
Hello. All right. Welcome. Good to see you all. Sub-Zero, Niche, Dorix, NFF. What's going on? It is good to see you, and it is good to be here. This is... I'm still in my head of how I want to approach this topic. I want to first start off by saying this topic has no this has nothing to do with the developers. This is not a knock on the developers of the game or anyone that works in the game. This is something that has been created because of the nature of the game, I should say. So this has nothing to do with the developers themselves, this topic. So the way I want to do this is going to be part education, part story time, part education again. And this is going to be one of the things that will probably ensure someone can win Eden, but it will also kill your bracket. These sort of tactics dissuade players from playing, and eventually end up forcing people to not want to play anymore. And I believe that is a prime, this is going to be a prime thing about why players get bored with the game. And so let's do this. Let me switch the screen. I have a few things I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little bit. This is going to be a much different setup, okay? I'm going to do some typing. I'm going to do some picture showing. And we're going to do some reading things. So let's start off this way. We all get these emails. Illegal account and resource trading, correct? I'm sure you've seen them. They pop out probably once a week. Everyone just kind of brushes them off. All right. I mean, I kind of read it and I go, yeah, you didn't recently discover, this is going on, but this isn't a knock on them. I assume they are honest in their attempt to try and curb this behavior. But this behavior is what is driving players to want to leave. So this email we all get, it says they discovered commanders illegally trading accounts and resources for profit. Behavior can and will affect the gaming experience of other commanders. And that is a 100% true statement. This is why players leave the game. But let me continue. In order to maintain fairness, we've enacted and strictly prohibit such transactions. We'll also be cracking down on such profit-making behavior once verified, which I don't know how they verify it. Maybe they should check IP addresses of players and make sure they're in the same fucking continent, but whatever. Commanders who violate the rules will be punished with chat bans, and with serious violations will be given account bans, yada, 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 right? If an illegal resource trader is discovered, please file a report with the game's customer service and we'll deal with it as soon as possible. I don't know anyone that has, and whatever. But we make this, they send this out. And if you don't already know, and I'm sure most of you are aware, this is not going to be a surprise, right? We have different types of third-party dealers, so to say. We have, and in essence, all of them are middlemen. Okay, basically, we have skin dealers, people that you can buy skins from, and really what this is it's not really a way of getting around things, but it's a way of, let's say I have 2 of a base skin. I don't need 2, obviously, so I can give 1 to another player, but I don't know how to give 1 to another player that wants to get it. So these people are middlemen and will find someone to help connect, right? They make a couple bucks, whatever. Then you have pack sellers or reloaders. And these people are the ones that will sell packs to you at a slightly cheaper price, right? They make a little something, sure. I'm sure they do. But because of the country that they're in, the exchange rate is slightly different, so you can save a little bit more money, or whatever they're buying it through has a deal that you can get around. For example, the crypto store on the weekends has a 15% off deal. They probably have something similar, but it's a little bit more in their country of origin. So they can get into it, they can give you the better deal, and so on and so forth. So yes, it is kind of breaking the rule on that sort of nature of what they're saying, but it is not necessarily a huge ordeal. Now, both of these people generally will do base selling. And this is where you got to be careful, because you buy a base from someone, you're buying an account, you have to know that you could trust it and stuff like that. People get scammed a lot in this sort of aspect. You can get scammed in any of this, but primarily they get scammed in base selling, because you buy a base from someone, they give you the information, and they wind up taking it back. And really there's nothing you can do, and now you're out of the money. Whatever. Now, because of the nature of the game and how much money gets pumped into this game, this has created an ecosystem where third-party people along these lines make a living. This is how they live, okay? This is their monthly paycheck. This is how they survive in the world. And so I'm not throwing shade on anyone that falls in these categories, okay? I get it. The world is hard. The world sucks. I'm not judging, I'm not hating, I don't give a shit about that, okay? This isn't the whole thing. We have two more categories of people that make money off this game. Players that call themselves managers or base managers, and planners, or Doomsday / Eden. Oh, sorry. Eden. Oh, I don't know why it's red. Eden planners. This is where the majority of the money comes in. Okay. What? No, I don't want that. No, stop. Stop. God damn it. Where is it? No, I don't want that. Why is that doing that? Whatever. We're gonna do this. Fuck. All right. Sorry. Didn't mean to get off topic or get distracted. All right. So you have base managers and planners, right? Now, base managers, what they do is they are players that will log into your base and do tasks while you sleep, right? I'm in North America. This shouldn't be a surprise. You could probably tell by my accent. I'm in North America, and yeah, I do have to sleep. I have to sleep. To sleep, right? Generally, my game time sleep is probably around game time +3 to +8, right? Or some shit like that. I probably, yeah, 5 hours of sleep is about right? That means in Eden, as you know, Eden is a 24/7 event. I will probably not be active during those times. If my base is useful, what we will do is we'll hire managers to run the base between the hours of sleeping or when I'm busy so that I can live my life, okay? These players these people are managers. They don't give you a product, but they are providing a service that can't be tracked. These people can charge hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars a month to run a base. Now, they may do other things outside of that, but that is up between the manager and the person hiring them and what they want to have them do. But they can charge a lot of money, hundreds to thousands of US dollars per month. In some of these countries, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money in certain countries, okay? Now, they do not just handle one base. These people will handle 3, 4, 5 bases at any given time, right? So now you multiply that, you're talking about probably $3,000 just to log into a base and, move things around. Yes, that is huge money. And the bigger the base is, the bigger, the higher, the person that spends more money more than likely has one of these people helping them. Okay, so they are hiring other people to help run their base 24/7, and they are spending a lot of money. Okay. Now, some of these managers will do, like I said, they will do multiple bases at the same time. This starts to create a conflict. This could start to create a conflict of interest. If we have a manager in 2 different states within a bracket and you are in a competition, most people would keep it professional and just do whatever. However, if there's an incentive to side with one over another, they will do so. So, this is where planners come in. Planners are people that can guarantee, I'm probably going to spell it wrong, guarantee Eden wins. How do they guarantee it? Well, they say they are strategic and know how to maneuver or plan strategies to help win Eden. So these people will get hired and they will help plot the course for your guild. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. Some people may not know anything of what I'm talking about. More than likely, if you're in a younger state, your top leaders have heard of this and may or may not have hired someone before because they are new or they're newer to the situation and they don't really know how to think in those strategic. So, Eden or Doomsday is more like a game of Risk. And if you don't know how to think of things in terms of battles, then it can be a very complicated thing. So they hire planners to help guide them, the leadership along the way in how should we attack Eden maps and which ways should we go in order to secure a win, quote unquote. The issue here is that planners get paid, charge, not hundreds, but thousands of US dollars. People can pay anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000, if not more, a season. A season! Right? 45 days, a season. For these people to help guide them in winning a thing. So, how does this play into the topic of today? Well, let's talk a little bit. Let's tell a little story here. We have the primary, I guess, so to say, leader of a state that just immigrated in. This base right here. Daji. We know him as Daji because that's pretty much Daji in Japanese. Now, Daji is Japanese. However, at times he speaks Chinese because his manager happens to be this person here, also known as Han, H-A-N, for those of you curious. This is what she looks like. She is a Chinese citizen, so she is able to get things at a cheaper price. Han handles Daji's, sorry, I didn't mean to leave that up. Han handles Daji's packs, reloading. She manages his base when he is not online, and they hired her to be a planner as well. So Han, from this base alone, is probably making, I don't know, probably $5,000 to $10,000 a month just from this base. Okay. She is a Chinese, so the conversion of whatever, I assume yen to Chinese, because I'm assuming he would pay in yen. So whatever that comes out to. However, this is not the only base that Han manages. Han also happens to manage a base in the opposing guild and charges them hundreds of dollars a month to manage. However, that person in the opposing guild did not hire her to be the manager. And we have, I have all the receipts on this. So this started this way. She was asked here who the manager of Daji was. Basically, she's saying she doesn't know. She was asked at the beginning of the season if this would be an issue, that she is managing two bases, two of the top bases on opposing sides. And she said no, she's only doing one. She told one side she's only managing them. She told the other side she's only managing them. However, the other side hired her to be a planner. This is another receipt here. It says, sorry, I have to tell 80 about this. She's lying. She told a friend in 1384, which is a different bracket altogether. She played 21 hours in Daji's base. She told her friend the 72 president is not active and we're preparing to take over. She wants to keep making money from both bases, and there were screenshots and interactions, so there's even more receipts on that. Which then led between the two bases to prove this was going on. Someone in 72, in one of the original players, was going to ask if Han was still managing your base, but I guess it doesn't matter now. Yes, we hired Han this season after she had told us she was not managing anyone in 80, which she told the person on the other side the opposite. Apparently, this was a lie, along with many more lies she has told us. Hiring her was a grave mistake and has caused much division in the group. These also continue on. They say that the leadership there, the people that came in, is making threats and ultimatums to the players that were there originally. Just want to say that the original members are good people. Do not let the actions of the people that came in affect that. If we crash, they were just, talking to each other, letting them know they really cared about each other, and that this was a mistake, and that is not how they like to operate or play, because honest and good competitiveness is what makes the game fun. Okay? We don't get money from this game. However, the manager, makes a living off of this, so they will get as much money as they possibly can. When players cheat, so why is this a problem? Okay, so when she says she's a planner, that means all she has to do is guide her team along the way to a win. Well, it's pretty easy to do that when you know what the other side is doing, when they're doing it, what time they're doing it, because of all the communication. You shut down communication with markers, and everything pretty much falls apart. If your guild doesn't know where to go or what time to be there or what the overall plan is, then they are confused and you will not be able to put anything together. If the opponent knows exactly when an attack is going to happen, where it's going to be, so on and so forth, it kills the game. And then, therefore, players don't want to play anymore. So yes, this might be a player that spends a lot of money, but this person overall is costing the developers more money in the long run because they are ruining the game for everyone else. And that is why player participation declines. Now, I have all the receipts and all this stuff. Will the developers do anything about this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. I just wanted to let people know that this does happen. Okay, the topic of this video is how do you want to buy it? You could buy it that way. The other thing players can do is espionage. And that this brings into the espionage talk, right? As I said, if your opponent knows exactly when and where attacks are going to happen, paths that they are going to go, it's easy to counteract that. What some people can do is they can buy bases in the opponent's guild for cheap, buy the cheap ones, and get the information that way. Okay? Espionage is not technically against the rules, but it should be frowned upon because as we progress in Eden, we will open up to bigger brackets. There will be more states included in Eden battles and different battles altogether. You could be allies one season and enemies the next. You want to play fairly and have a good competitive, a fair sportsman competitiveness. And if I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. But at least we played fair and we had fun. Because next season, I might have to be your ally. So if you put a bad taste in my mouth, I don't want to work with you. So that makes people not want to play. It's a bad tactic. We have all the receipts, all the proof, all the evidence that this is going on. I don't know what the developers will do about it. And like I said, this has nothing to do with the developers. This is not a knock on the developers at all. This is just the way things are. And this is the way the ecosystem of this game works. Okay? You want to be able, if you're going to give someone your login information in a third-party setting, you want to make sure that you can trust them. This person, the manager for this base and the one on the other side, manages a bunch of bases. This is how she makes a living. But she is manipulating the system to make more money without regard of anything else. What up, Assad? So, want to know how to buy Eden? Just buy bases in your opponent's guild or hire a manager. You could hire Han. I showed you her login information or her contact information. If you want to contact her, you could feel free to. She makes thousands of dollars a month off of players. Yeah. So when we see this email every week, or every other week or every week about illegally trading accounts and resources for profits, this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about the guy that fucking sells skins and makes $10, okay? We're not talking about the guy that puts one player in contact with another so that, you know, they could buy the skin off the other person because one has 3 of them and the other person doesn't have any. And someone in the middle makes some money. That's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about the people like Han who make thousands of dollars off of this game and ruin the gameplay for everyone else. And this is not just in this bracket. This is not just something I experience, okay? This is rampant in all brackets at some point. So if you don't think it's happening in your bracket or it hasn't happened, I'm sure it has. Now, older states generally don't happen because they've been playing the game long enough that they don't really need a planner. They don't really care about those sort of things. But for younger states that are experiencing Eden with a bunch of people that never played it before, or Doomsday with a bunch of players that never experienced it before, the older people, these third parties prey on you and do it in a way where all you have to do is pay them some extra money. If they can find a cheap base, now if we go to my base, I think there's one right next to me. This right here. One of my own allies, base for sale. Okay, he's trying to sell his base. Someone could probably buy this base. So if I was a manager for the opponent and I saw this, I would contact this person. I would go, okay, I made $2,000 to plan their eat-in. Okay, I will buy your base for $300. I just made $1,700, and now I have a base inside my opponent's guild to tell me everywhere they're gonna be. Okay, this is cheating. Okay, some people may not see that as cheating, but in my eyes and in most people's eyes, that is cheating, and it kills relationships. It kills the fun in the game. For just so I don't know who is that. I don't know, it's just someone. But so yes, Han has charged a hefty fee to ensure that they won, and she used her insider information to ensure a win for the opponent. You want to know how to buy wins? Pay someone as a planner to go in and be an espionage person. This is frowned upon. Eventually, it will backfire in your face because people will not want to work with you. But yeah. So it's something that needs to be discussed and there needs to be some sort of repercussion. Will the developers do something about this? We're aware of it. I've presented the information. Everyone is aware of it. Everyone that is associated has admitted to it, and it's pretty much in the developers' hands if they want to do anything about it. But this does more damage to a bracket than anything else. Okay, I've dubbed this sort of behavior the bracket killer, because what this does is it makes people want to quit the game because everyone feels that they're just being dominated, that there's no point. But the fact of the matter is, someone is telling them or telling the opponent exactly when and where to do things. Okay. Telling exactly when and where to do things. It's easy to plan a strategy when all you have to do is go, okay, we just need to get here and cause them headaches, and then we can ignore everything else on the map. I mean, it's not hard. So yeah, pay me $3,000 to do it. There's a lot of money that gets involved, but it's cheating, and eventually people want to quit. They already killed one bracket. They're working on killing this one, and no one's going to want to work with them. Okay, so this is going to cost the developer money, more money. So I put that in their hands. Was last year talking about a class action lawsuit against the devs? Do you know what happened to that? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Like I said, this does not have anything to do with the developers. Okay. This behavior is not on them. This is just the natural ecosystem of the game that has been created outside of the game. The developers did not do this. They didn't encourage this behavior. Well, as far as I know, they don't encourage the behavior, and they didn't establish this sort of behavior. But this behavior is still happening regardless. The dumb difference between rewards for first and second are laughable. Exactly. But to some people, Savior, that is all that matters, is that they are winners. They don't care. They will spend thousands of dollars just to say they won, which is pathetic. It really is. It's sad. It really is sad. I agree with you. But this behavior happens, and it is rampant, and it is disgusting because it takes away the fun of the game. This was after ZLG used a bug in the game to... Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes, I don't know anything about that. It is what it is. I agree. Say the difference, the downside is losing. And that's exactly what happens. Exactly. Where unfair practices were used to win. And the sad thing is, like I said, as the game progresses for every state, you start to include more and more brackets and states, and you have to eventually either start working together and start having a good working relationship with people, or just quit. Because at some point, I might have to, I might have to make a decision whether I am going to work with them or not. And based on their behavior, I don't want to be associated with that. And it's already happened, as I showed you with the other text messages with this player. This person was their ally, and they don't even want to associate with them anymore because they learned of this behavior. They learned of this going on. So now they don't even want to play with them. So they are killing and hurting themselves, but they get to say they won. And it's up to each other. I'm not saying do it, don't do it. I don't frankly care. Okay? If you want to pay the money and do it, by all means. Okay? If you're okay with those sort of tactics, I don't approve of it, but do you. But for the players that want to play honest and fairly, this is what goes on behind the scenes. This is what happens. And it's up to you to figure out how to combat it. But if you want to buy it, by all means, find a planner, pay the money, and let them do the espionage for you. And then they can tell you when and where to be, and all you have to do is follow the game plan. So there you go. I wish I could. I'd be so far behind, Savior. I would love to go to an older state, but I would be so far behind in technology, it would cost me thousands to catch up. Yeah, this behavior is all the time. It's every time. It happens every time. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if, they're getting fed information right now because I'm calling them out. And that's why they're going to start making a push and everything like that. You'll see. So my base is somewhere there. Yeah, I know. So yeah, look, I don't like to play like that. And I don't suggest anyone plays like that, because all you're going to do is make people mad. Okay. It's a game. Enjoy the game. It doesn't matter if you win or if you don't win, as long as you're having fun, okay? But this sort of stuff takes away, and it doesn't make it fun, because I don't get to see who's actually winning, who's actually good. Is my strategies actually working? Because if we have a strategy or a game plan, it doesn't matter. You'll never be able to tell if it works because the opponent already knows what it is. So you'll never know whether or not you're actually doing a good job. So it's sad. It's like I said, I know that developers watch, okay? I've given you all the information. I've shown you all the text, the admittance, the contact of the third person, the main base that's the culprit. I've given all the information. Now, whether they actually do something about it or not is up to them. Okay. But I don't know. But this behavior does happen. And that's really the purpose of this video, is to show that there is an ecosystem that happens outside of this game. And that is why this email comes out every week, because it's all over the place, whether you know it or not. And the longer you play, the more you may know that this happens, or the more you spend, the more you might get contacted by these people. But there are a lot of scam artists out there too, okay? There are a lot of people that will steal your money and just leave, and you can't do anything about it. So you need to be aware of that as well. But there is a lot of money that gets tossed around in this game, okay? And $5,000 to a Chinese citizen is pretty much, it's a lot of money to them. shield base just falls suddenly to win. Exactly. That's the other thing. If that spy is in one of the farm or smaller bases that volunteered to do a shield wall, and when the enemy comes up, they can immediately drop the shield and allow them in. There's a lot of cheating that goes on, and a lot of espionage, I guess so to say. Is espionage against the rules? No. Is it a shitty tactic? Yes. Let's see. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. That's the whole point of it. I don't necessarily, like I said, I covered a lot of the messages up because I don't want to see other people get in trouble. Okay, there's a lot of players, and there's a lot of these third-party people that they're honest people, and they're just trying to get through. Okay, but when you have players that are greedy, not players, but you have third-party people, managers and stuff that are greedy and will do anything for money, that's what ruins it. And they are out there, as I've shown you. I wanted to get back to this one. What do you think about devs having a moderator in each state? And if proof of foul play, they can release checkpoints or something. I don't know if they can. Well, I guess they could, because how many... I'm trying to think of how many Edens happen at any given time, and I know that there's not a lot. So they probably could, but I don't know if the punishment of releasing checkpoints would really... I don't know what they could do to balance it out, because once there's foul play, or, what is the definition of foul play? And that's what that's where it kind of gets fuzzy. Like I said, hiring Han as a third-party person does violate the rule, okay? That's fine. But if she were to do it on her own, let's say she wasn't getting paid to do it, and someone of your opponent just decided to start a new base or put a farm base in every state of the bracket just to have someone there, is espionage foul play? And there's really no rule against it, okay? There's no rule against someone buying someone's base in another state and leaving it as a way of getting information. It's not against the rules, but it is shitty behavior, in my opinion. Can you buy Eden? Yes. That is exactly the point. I could come over here, find a base for sale. I can offer them a few $100, buy their base, and now I have all the inside information on their guild marks and stuff like that. So yeah, you can buy Eden. That is the purpose of this video. Scams, cheats of being obnoxious. There are so many that quits the game because of this. And that's exactly the point. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I agree that there should be something. There should be something, but I don't know how to. I wouldn't know how to manage that. But it does kill the game. It makes players not want to keep playing and give it up. And then eventually players that were always in it for the long haul, that invested time, money, energy for so long, they just don't want to play anymore because it's not fun anymore. So these players are killing the game. And the devs don't really do anything because those people are the ones that spend the most money. But when you think of it in terms of the big picture, one person spending $10,000 or 200 people spending $100, what's more? If you kill the one person that's spending $10,000 a month, you will make more money in the long run with these smaller investments. And if they don't see that, then that's on them. We've had a dev in our state and allowance aside from giving us better brackets for DD, they won't do anything. Yeah. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And for all I know, Daji could be one of the devs. I mean, for all I know. But it sucks. Move to Discord line for communication and stop posting certain moves in chat in the game. Yeah, so do we, Savior. And but the thing is not everyone has line, and not every country has it, and that's the problem. And then you still get active players in other countries that are all over the place. So communication gets so screwed up. But the fact that you say that right there is exactly what the problem is. Would using new randomized maps every time instead of recycling maps for newer states help? I don't think so. Because all it takes is for your opponent to have one base in your guild. That's it. Once they're in there, any marker that is placed gives them all the information they need to know. Which means any game communications are done. They have access to your alliance chat. They have access to your guild chat. They have access to your guild markers. They know times. They know places. They know everything. All they need is one base inside your guild. So changing the map really, I don't think changes much of anything else. That whole thing got people more pissed off. Yeah, and I understand. And this is why people quit the game, because there's no way against it. And some countries see that as that's okay. Some players see this as okay. Espionage isn't against the rules. And yes, espionage is used in war, in real life. But this is a game. And we're all, at times, we don't know who we're going to be allied with. So you might as well be able to get along with everyone. My comment was for the planners, not the, well, the thing is, the planners legitimate planners, yeah, I guess that would kind of alter that for legitimate planners. However, a lot of planners are just spies. They just use spy tactics. There are, in my opinion, I don't think there's a lot of legitimate planners out there that won't put a base or try and attempt to get a base in the opponent's guild. Because that's going to tell them everything they need to know. Then they look like an awesome planner, and then because they look like an awesome planner, they're going to get rehired again and again and again. They're going to keep making money. No one wants to hire a planner that sucks. But yeah, I agree. That would make everyone pissed off because you have one person that you know cheated, I guess, so to say, and everyone gets rewarded. That kind of sucks. Yeah, there's really no answer to it, but this does happen, and it's rampant. So what the solution is, I don't know. I can't offer a better solution. We've had an alt base used for flag and shield wall just teleport away and was bought a few seasons ago. Someone who had access just logged in and teleported our shield wall fell and we lost. Yes, I've had that happen as well. These players right here. This has happened before. And every season it's happened because these guys went from our old bracket and followed us here because they're that obsessed with us. It's sad. It's sad. We are looking at losing a lot of players on both sides because of this. These players are bracket killers. Period, ended. And it would be nice if the devs did something about it, but I don't know. I don't know if they will. Is Chinese only maps? Possible. Possible. The thing is that this isn't a Chinese state. This player right here is not in a Chinese state. Now, he might be a Chinese player, but he's not in a Chinese state. Now, the other players are. But the thing is, the players in 76, the actual Chinese state, they're not bad people. But we get along with a lot of these people. They're honest players. It's just a small group. So it's not now, maybe in other brackets, you have the Chinese state become an issue like that. But in ours, we don't have a problem with our Chinese state. They just happen to be working together this season. This is the first time they've worked together. And it was very, we were questioning whether they actually would work together because they don't like each other. But this base, the one that's primarily the focus of it, is not in a Chinese state, by the way. And yeah, it's not everyone. But when it's the leaders, and like a lot of the players just follow directions. They're not planning. The leadership is the one that's in charge of planning. They hire the people to plan, quote unquote. That's where the problem lies. It's not the average player. It's not even mainly a lot of the R4s. It's the leaders that put this all together. So I don't know. I wish I had a answer. I wish I did. I would like to see something done to help curb it. But, you know, I think if people don't see anything done about it, then it promotes it. I think that's where it needs to take a stop. Someone needs to be held accountable. Once someone is held accountable, then I think you will start to see the behavior start getting curbed. I should do live streams more often. I wish I could. I mean, I try to do at least once a week, but sometimes I don't really always have a great topic to talk about. And I would like to talk. I do like talking about the behind the scenes stuff. Okay, I don't think any real of the creators talk about like the politics and what goes on behind the scenes. I think that's something that people find out as they progress in the game. But there's a lot that goes behind the scenes, and I think a lot of players would benefit from understanding all that. When you get to Eden with more than 2 factions, it will get insane with the Chinese friendships. Yeah, right now, technically right now, we are 3 main states. There are 3 main states here, and it's kind of the same as it was in the last bracket. But there was a clear one favorite over the others. This bracket has all 3 states fairly close in strength. And then when brackets start getting merged and all that stuff, it's going to become a little bit more interesting. But it's not fun when these players, you know, pay to dominate the battlefield. And we just want to play for fun. You know, it's a shame. It's a shame. But I would love to see, like I said, if every bracket saw something actually being done, I think you would see a better response from all the other players. But I think that because of the inactivity of a punishment or someone not seeing anything done about it, it kind of dissuades people from continuing. And I think that's where I think the developers need to kind of figure out. Yes, a lot of these people that violate the rules are your main spenders. But if the smaller spenders see actual fairness being enacted, they will want to play more and spend more. And then there will be a bigger community all around within the game, and you won't see so many empty states. But you have to actually show punishment. Our bracket has been bloody from day one. I don't think there's been a lot of brackets very similar to the stuff that we've had, because it has been. I'm surprised I'm not bald from ripping my hair out. Our brackets, everywhere I've gone, from my own state before Doomsday with all the pirates and all the other stuff, to even now, it's just been bloodbath. We have been a state and a bracket that has been nothing but bloodbaths. And I guess that's kind of fun, but it's also frustrating. But we'll see. I don't think they're going to merge the current bracket yet. We have too many active players, and the states are too big. They may merge my old bracket. the 80s and 90s, or the 81 to 90, they may merge that, but I don't think they're going to merge the one I'm currently in. So, all right, now that I'm done, an hour of high horseness. I would love to see a punishment actually happen. It would make me want to start being more active, or that there was an actual point to doing anything. But that's not my decision. I can't punish someone. So whether or not something actually happens, we'll see. So, and that's basically it. That's going to cover the topic for today. I would love to see solutions, or I would love to hear your, if you see this video later on, or you see it, you know, you're here now, leave a comment and let me know like what kind of solutions you think would be worthwhile. Because the way it stands, this game is going to lose more and more players until it's dead. And I think we all enjoy this game, but this is the behavior that I think we all see, especially older players, that dissuades us from wanting to be as involved as we were from day one. So like I said, if I saw actual punishments on these sort of behaviors and trying to keep things fair, I would want to play way more. I mean, I guess you could do that, because you are right. The game is fun. It's just, it's that sort of behavior that kills it. And you know what? I don't think you're 100% wrong on that theory, because when you can't even touch a base, you know, they kind of get to do whatever they want. And the only way you can get to that level is if you spend enough money to max everything out. So I don't know. That would be interesting. But I don't know how they could do that. I don't know how they can do that. I would love to see that. That'd be awesome. But anyways, thank you all for being here for this rant. I hope this kind of sheds some light on what goes on behind the scenes, and what that email actually means. If you didn't know what that email of warning about third-party stuff actually meant, well, now you should know. That's exactly what happens. That's exactly what it means. But yeah. So, Doomsday are in general very taxing on leaders. Could the use of planners help keep people that takes leadership roles in the game longer? So yeah, I mean, planners, that is kind of what it is, but you know, at the same time, as a leadership, you know, when it comes to these events, you should break roles up so that everyone is in charge of just something instead of, you know, whatever's going on. And then even expect more from your R3s, okay? You don't have to just have the R4s. So you can do R3s. Expect a little bit more from certain R3s. You know, train the next level of leaders in case you have a leadership position open. Train those people. Educate people in how to do things. That's going to drastically ease a lot of the tension on leadership. But planners can be helpful. But the thing is like, you got to make sure they're legit, you know? You know, you draw some ground rules, you know? I mean, I don't think having a planner that just puts a base in another one, you know, in the opponent's place and tell you everything that they're doing, I don't think that's really a benefit. So I don't know. But divvying up roles is the best way to go about taking a lot of the pressure off of leadership. Having your R5 be the overall decision maker, but the R4s and R3s handling the other responsibilities and splitting that up is what's going to make it work better. I will never leave another guild. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Enjoy your Sunday. It's almost reset. That means some of you it'll be gathering day, and it's another wonderful week of Last Shelter. So I wish I had a better answer, but I hope this helped shed some light on it. And thank you all for being here. And we're almost at that 1,000. Like I said, at the 1,000, I'm gonna do a bigger giveaway. I have a couple of teleports I want to give away. So we got to hit that 1,000 though. Yeah. And we'll I had a family emergency, so things got a little screwy. But I plan to get back on task here. Enjoy your weekend, and yeah, try not to lose your mind. And until next time, be safe out there. Bye.
Listen to this ultrasound.